Mr. Jordan Jules.
What's up, guys?
Ciao
Okay.
Jordan, hi.
Allora,
Are we live?
yeah.
Yes.
We're live. Amazing. Okay. Fantastic.
Jordan,
I'm putting on headphones.
Jordan, we are really sorry for delay,
No problem.
but
Okay. Now.
today is the liquid tension experiment day.
Yes, it is.
Today in my phone, too many people write me that, oh my god, the new liquid tension, what's about? It's very difficult to play the new liquid tension. What's about the new liquid tension experiment with this adventure?
Yeah. This is a big adventure, right? And now people have heard the third song. Right?
Yes, that's
So
right.
yeah, we're so excited to get this album out. You know, there's some really cool stuff on it. I'm particularly excited about the Rhapsody in Blue that we played
Yeah.
because it's really cool. You know, we did an arrangement of that a while back, which was a live arrangement, and that was complicated to put together and a big deal. But now, when we decided to do it again, I wanted to do it in a more studio kind of a way. I wanted to do it you know, with full orchestration and really do layers and different kinds of sounds.
Yeah.
And so I got to do like a very special project with this Rhapsody in Blue,
Yeah.
with my full palette of colors, sonic colors, you know,
Yeah.
and that was really, really fun for me. So everyone will hear it soon, you know. Unfortunately, it was a little bit delayed, as we know, but I think everything in our lives, in modern life, has been a little bit delayed. So it's just something that we need to, you know, that we're getting used to. But as I say, we've waited for what, 22 years, so we can wait another couple of weeks, no problem.
My god. What- Yes, but one question.
Sure.
One question. For I'm guitar player. What can I do for play Acid Rain? And the new release of today. My God,
Yeah,
too many notes.
it's hard, yeah. No,
Yes.
it's hard. You know, it's funny, those kind of things as a musician, you know, like, you can get in almost like different physical modes, which of course the physical and the mental are very much one, right? I'm sure that all of us as musicians have practiced a particular section, and as you're playing it, you go, damn it, my hand is getting so tight, or, you know, like you get stiff and it's just not good and it doesn't feel good. And then maybe you change your mindset a little
Yes.
bit. You relax, you take a deep breath, you ease some of the tension, and the next time you go to play it, you make sure not to get so, like, maybe involved in the physical tension of it. And you can be back, you know, just like ease up a little bit and still play the same thing. And it can be a very, very different experience. And it's fresh on my mind because I was just working on something the other day, one of these, and when I first started to work on it, I was like, damn, ow, like I had to shake my hand out and stop. And then I changed my perspective, I changed my mind, and then I started to play it again. I was like, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I can do this. I can do this. I just have to think about it a different way and approach it mentally and physically in a different way. So that's it, you know? I'm playing live a lot is I will literally to myself or even out loud if nobody can hear me singing along with the music. It helps, you know, literally like, and then it helps me to focus on the moment
Yeah.
instead of like what you're saying, kind of thinking ahead and going, oh shit, like what's coming? Can I do it? Can I not do it? That's a mental trap. It's terrible. but it happens to all of us.
Yes, of
sometimes
course.
maybe we're thinking about what we want for breakfast the next day or something like that. And that, our mind wanders. But to keep it from wandering, it's always good to just be very much in the moment. And to do that, to be like almost like singing along with the section, with the moment that you're on, I find is very good. And the other thing that really is helpful to me, that might be helpful to you and everybody else, is when you're practicing the pieces, try to put yourself in the mindset of the real performance. What does it take? Bright lights, it's up very loud. Maybe you'll turn on the video camera, so you're videoing yourself, so you can practice. You boost the excitement even when you're practicing, so you can practice how you want to feel, not how you're playing, not scales and arpeggios and the technique, but practice the mental space that you want to be in when you're playing. It's critical. I learned this, later on in life. When I was a kid at Juilliard, I didn't know about this. But then I realized that I didn't only need to practice the actual notes and the fingering and all that. What I needed to practice is how do I want to feel when I'm playing this music? And that helps. A lot of times when I name my patches on my synthesizer, I'll literally call something like, instead of like, verse 2, E flat, I'll call it like take a deep breath or something like that. Or you'll notice that when I'm playing one of these crazy 16th note unisons, sometimes I'll literally stand on one foot and almost go into like a meditation, and my body becomes very still. So I'm going to, and there's like no additional, I'm not going crazy. I'm just doing this. And it's great because I practice it that way at home, to go into this meditative state, even though it's the hardest part. And that really helps. And I'm not, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I could fuck it up, and I could get too excited, who knows what. But I just find that it really, really does help to be thinking along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I say always, we have Francesco is the bass player of my band, Duke, and Fabrizio. They are from the Dream Theater community that help us to planning the show in Italy.
They are a piece of history, I think, of the Italian community that runs around Dream Theater.
We are.
That's great, guys. Thank you for that.
We are a Dream Theater fans since I was at the first Dream Theater show in Milan in '93, but maybe also our friend and Dream Theater, and of course Liquid Tension. When was released the first Liquid Tension, I was in Madrid, in Spain. I remember I was waiting near a music shop. When come the first release? I remember.
He slept outside, actually.
Yes.
You slept outside. Well, and are you going to sleep outside to get the LTE3? Well, you'll wait for your mailman outside your door, right? So.
But when I heard first time Paradigm Shift, I get crazy.
Yeah.
I bought my first guitar.
Wow.
This guitar is from '94. I think it's the first guitar that my father gave me, my great father. And of course I'm surrounded with guitar, but this guitar is a piece of history. This guitar was both when the Liquid Tension Experiment was released with Paradigm Shift. In this guitar there are my finger. I was always.
But is that the same guitar that John Petrucci played on the Liquid Tension? Do you know?
Yes, it's of course it's not the it's not the same guitar.
It's Ibanez guitar.
Yes, this is Ibanez.
Right.
Ibanez.
Looks cool, yeah.
And, this guitar is from '94.
Wow.
And of course it's a piece of my history.
Often when you are live, you play standing. So you go.
Right. Standing is good, right? Yeah, sure. And I have my very cool stand that swivels all around and moves and you know, which is really, really fun. And also, you know, I guess, you know, one of the nice things as far as like the look of the instruments that happened for me was that my guitars, you know, have been kind of cool. You know, the Zen Ripper was an interesting design, looked like a deadly weapon, right? But and now more recently, I'm using the Roland, the Axe Edge keyboard.
Yeah.
And that's nice because I was able to get it like custom painted. So the interesting thing about that keyboard is that everybody can. There's a little like a silver kind of like strip in the keyboard that everybody can customize themselves. So that's nice. But I also got the whole body of it kind of painted by a friend of mine who has done some of the art for my albums. A guy named Jerry LaFaro, very nice, very talented, you know, artist. So yeah, so I'm having some fun. But I'll keep in mind the way that your guitar looks over there, because maybe that's my next paint job.
Yeah, but this would be great. We have another guest. I invited. Maybe you know Jordan, this guest, because
John Petrucci?
no, John Petrucci.
Oh
Is she here too?
magari.
He's a guitar player. And
Vale.
visual symmetry.
I know that friend, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe you play.
I'm back.
He's back. He's rocking it out. He's rocking again.
Yeah.
You're taking a break from your day job to join us here on the Rock and Roll Chat.
Yeah. A little bit to practice Anon now.
Lido.
Yeah.
So
Ha
that's how-
capito, Valerio?
That's how it goes, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
We can play some song together.
Right. But I don't think it'll come out because the rhythm over the airwaves won't be so good,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Unless it's very slow. I could just play some nice. That we could do. That's easy.
But now you're inviting me. No, I have to play now.
Other than that, very
Devi
difficult.
prendere la chitarra, Dani.
Too difficult. Too difficult.
Do we have a little jam going? Right?
Inspiration.
Hey, we can jam a little bit over the airwaves.
In the G minor.
But Jordan,
All right.
but one song we can play together. That's my best dream.
That's your best one.
We can play.
Yeah,
What
but
about this?
Yeah, so we can play a little bit on the. It works a little. Nice job.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks.
My God. My God. This is the soundtrack of my life.
Oh,
I don't have
nice.
to think over.
And you have to hear, because we have a new duet song on the album as well.
Yeah.
It's very nice. You'll be learning it, I'm
Yes.
sure, soon. I'm looking forward to your reaction to it. I think it's very pretty. I wrote part of it. I wrote the rest of it when I saw John, but the first part I wrote on a vacation. I had a little 2-octave keyboard, and I brought it with me on the vacation, and I wrote the melody. And then I sent it to John and to Mike to hear, because I just filmed it on my camera to remember it. And they were like, "Yes, that's a great melody. We'll have to use that." And then when I got together with John, we wrote the rest of it very quickly. The beginning of the melody was like. Kind of like that type of thing.
Yes, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty, yeah. It's very pretty.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what's your experience about to play again with Mike Portnoy, of course, John Petrucci is
Yeah, of course.
your John Petrucci, Jordan Rudess. But what's about Mike Portnoy to play?
Yeah, it had been about 11 years since we were in the studio together, right? But when we entered the studio, it was like old times. It was just like in 1 second we were just connected, working very smoothly. Everybody was cool, having a good time. It really can't say it enough. The vibes were just great. We just enjoyed working together. Matter of fact, because we have great techs, when I walked into the studio to start the Liquid Tension, studio sessions, all the instruments were already set up, and I literally walked over to the keyboard. I said hello to the guys, waved hello. We started to play. We went right into jamming, and we probably had like a 30-minute jam.
I know.
And then we stopped and said a more formal hello, and we started to work. But, one of the things I was nervous about was that I would get to the studio and that the inspiration wouldn't necessarily be with me at that moment, because these albums are written very quickly.
Yeah.
So, and there was a little bit of extra pressure on this one because the expectations were so high. Usually I don't get affected too much by the fan expectations. I mean, in a typical cycle of an album, I know that people are looking forward to it, but I just go about my work. In this case, it was a little bit more than that, because every day for 20 years, please get Liquid Tension together, get Liquid Tension together. So yeah. I felt a little nervous about it. So that's why I wrote some music ahead of time. I wrote some ideas and everything, just to know that I would have some thoughts going into it, so I wouldn't be stuck and go, oh, I can't think of anything. Of course, knock on wood somewhere, that never really happens, So when I did get together with the guys, there were plenty of ideas, lots of inspiration, and it was just a matter of, picking which ideas to use and making sense of everything. And what's amazing, it was great to get back in the studio with Mike, who has such a great head for architecture of a song. I can spit out ideas all day, like this musical idea, that musical idea. But one of the things that doesn't come quite as naturally to me is how to put together the pieces of a song, and Mike is really great at that. And so it's great to work with him and kind of have that additional ability in the room with us because it really meant I realized again what the magic of that ensemble is, and that everybody brings a very particular special ability to the energy of the group. That's the thing. It's not like, Mike has a talent and I kind of have the same talent, or we're all kind of similar. It's that there's a lot of differences. Even with me and John Petrucci, there's a lot of differences. You'd think that maybe we'd be kind of like similar in mind, but like the way we work is so different. Like John, he doesn't use any like notation. I've got my, music paper, and I'm like writing stuff and looking how things line up and writing things that are counterpoint, like with counterpoint, and but John he doesn't do that, and for the way he's thinking, he doesn't even need to do it because he's got such an incredible memory and his own skill with the fretboard and patterns and all the stuff that helps to contribute to what we do as a whole. And of course, Tony Levin, he's incredible because he can go with anything. He's like the ultimate studio musician, if you will. He has so much experience in so many different styles, and he's so well versed. He reads music, he's got a great ear, he's an improviser, he's a terrific musician, and it's a pleasure always to work with him because he can speak my language, when we're talking about the written page. He can speak to John and Mike just about the architecture of the song, and it all kind of, the circle is very nicely complete with the people that are in it. And I think that's because one of the things I was really thinking about was like, why is this project so called for? What is it about it that people like so much? Because it's really unusual. There's a lot of music out there, a lot of great music out there. And why does Liquid Tension Experiment kind of like seem to stand out in the whole? There's something about it that is doing that. Yeah. And I've been very curious about understanding what that is. And I think what I learned, first of all, is I looked at the chemistry, and I'm appreciating and feeling and understanding it a little better now. Before, I was just in it. I didn't really know, just kind of there, and I didn't have a perspective. But now, this many years later, working, I kind of, okay, this is, and then I think about the music, and I think, okay, well, yeah, it makes sense. Like there's these elements of melody, and it can be complicated music, but there's an uplifting spirit to it. There's thematic things that are happening, like in major keys. It's not like a dark metal kind of vibe. It's even different than like Dream Theater, and that it has a bit more of a kind of lighter energy, and maybe even a bit more on the melodic focus as well, rather than going for the darker kind of a sound. And I think people really love that. I mean, that's I think everybody, anybody can analyze it as they wish. But my own inside analyzation of what it is about the group that is important and what makes it work has come up with these ideas.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that was very long. That was a long story.
No. I'm really interested about, because of course all is important to understand. But this meeting with Portnoy, as you know, of course, too many people speak. I read on the journal, newspaper. Too many people write about Mike Portnoy. And of course, it's about this. But now we are waiting the new Liquid Tension Experiment. Maybe it's still, I think it's release in a few days. And now I'm ready to learn the new stuff.
You're all ready. Yeah, you're warmed up. Ready.
Can I show you just one?
Yeah.
No, I forgot. And now,
awesome.
Okay.
I'll tell you. That's awesome, man. Good job. A funny story is that we did the whole Liquid Tension album.
Yeah.
It was done, did all my parts, and then I went on to work on the Dream Theater album. But then it came time to do like some press for the Liquid Tension, and I swear I couldn't remember one note of the Liquid Tension. I completely, like, other notes filled up my head. And if anybody asked me how any of that music went, like to sing one melody of it, not a chance.
Yeah.
I had to go back and listen before I spoke to anybody about it. I had to go back and say, all right, let me remember what we did, you know? So, because all of a sudden Dream Theater was filling my brain. So then I went back and I was listening almost with a fresh perspective, like a new listener, right? Which is always cool when you can hear your own music, but it's like you're not connected to it the same way anymore, and you're listening to it as a fresh experience. It's always interesting. Of course, my memory is not so great, so I get to do that a lot. Whenever, you know, like, did I meet you before? Who are you? You seem like such a nice guy, you know, like, I mean, it's great to not have a fantastic memory. That way everything is always new every day. You go, okay, you know, it's a new world. So there are advantages to everything.
Great.
Just gotta go with them.
How many days to record the album and to create the album? Maybe.
LTE?
Yeah, the last LTE.
Yeah, I think it was 2 days. Yeah. No, I'm
to
kidding.
record.
2 giorni.
Also to compose the entire album.
It was a little under 3 weeks. It was like 2.5 weeks to compose it.
3 weeks.
And then, you know, of course, there was time. Everybody took their time to do the tracks after that. Like I did my tracks
from the scratch, or you got the new ideas in the studios.
All the ideas happened either before the studio on our own to bring in, which there were not many things, but you know, we had some seeds, we call them.
Okay.
And then about 2.5 weeks of writing, and that we had our demos together and down, and then we all proceeded to track. You know, then we were all just laying down, and I did all my keyboard tracking at home actually, which was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. I mean, you know what? I just did all the keyboard tracking for Dream Theater in the studio, in the Dream Theater headquarters, and that was great too. I mean, that was really great. I was working with our engineer Jimmy T, who's just such a great guy and so smart and capable that it was really fun to work with him. Not only because he's pressing buttons really well and making sure I get a nice clean sound, but he also is very creative. And he's very involved with the music, and he has good suggestions, and he's become a very integral part of our team. So it was really nice to work with him, on the keyboards, and things like, I'd be working along on the keyboard tracks, and I'd get to a section like later on in the piece, and I'd be thinking, what do I want to do here? Should I do a pad, or should I do, like an organ? And he would be like, oh, well, Jordan, when this part first happened, you played it on organ, so why don't you try something else? And it was great because he would kind of grounded to reality, be able to give me some perspective of things that I wasn't thinking about, where I'm just thinking, what sound shall we make now? And be like, oh yeah, okay, so I played organ, so I'll take that out of the equation. Maybe I'll do, so he saved me a lot of time as well by that kind of organized thinking.
Yeah.
Great.
Right.
3 weeks. I need 3 life to compose.
3 lives. I hear you. I don't know how it happens. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's true.
4, 5.
4 lives, 5 lives. Eternity.
Right.
The dance of eternity.
Right. All of eternity to write it. Yeah. One of the things about writing music, though, I learned also is that you have to be able to let go. You have to be able to say, okay, this is good, go with it. You can't stay on something forever and say, I don't know, maybe it's not good, maybe I should try a different chord, different transition. You play something, you let it go, it's okay. You just, write something else after that, so to a certain point, obviously you have to, do some skilled creating, but to get too hung up, to slow the process so much, you could really injure your creative output. So you want to be able to, there's an art to being able to let go, to produce music and to make albums.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
Yeah. We all know musicians who just can't make it happen because they're too hung up. They're always stopping. Like, oh, I don't know. Like, maybe that's not cool. We should try this. We should try that. Forget it.
Yeah.
That's not a good. That sucks. You know, you just gotta go forward motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not stuck on the one ideas or yeah.
Not too much. You know, scattered thoughts about it. You just gotta travel down the road. Not get off the path too much.
Dani,
Right.
Fabrizio voleva fare qualche domanda. Maybe
Sì,
Fabrizio.
io
Sì,
chiedo
se
te per
qualcuno...
ne so poco. Hanno in progetto, Covid permettendo, naturalmente, un tour dopo il Liquid Tension Experiment il terzo, anche in Europa per vederli, se c'è in programma, poi naturalmente pandemia permettendo.
Ok. Francesco, puoi farmi questa domanda?
Jordan, is there any chance to see around Europe touring with LTE?
Well, I mean, at this
When, according to the, with the pandemic spreading around, still here around Europe, it's
yeah.
almost
Well,
a mess.
yeah.
We consider to stay off stage at least up to the summer, to the next
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah. Well, at this point, any possible touring is going to happen for Dream Theater, and all energy is around that. There's no additional planning that can happen right now for LTE because it's too complicated out there. You know, so anything that's going to happen for touring will be focused around Dream Theater, and once that things settle down, then we can think about Liquid Tension and see if there's any possibilities for playing live.
Ok.
Yeah, yeah.
Quindi Patrizio, prima dell'anno prossimo mi dispiace, ma
Ma noi aspettiamo, non è un
No,
problema.
beh, ma si sapeva che...
I just want to say that we have too many messages.
Oh, so many
Daniele,
messages,
prova a
yeah.
vedere se c'è qualcuno che vuole fare delle
tons
domande.
of messages.
And I try to read some. We have too many messages from. Come si dice Repubblica Ceca? Czech
Czech Republic.
Republic. From Naples. Because I'm from Naples, and of course Naples is meeting you.
We have listeners from Ohio, from Czech
Ohio, okay, good.
France. We have a lot of people.
We have a nice international gathering.
We 30 minutes of delay, but still there are
Still, there's people who decided to join us, and as we keep on talking, more people are joining because they're going, "Oh my God, they're talking!" And you know what? We'll get a lot of people after the fact. Also, after we post this, then a lot of people go, "Oh, I missed it. It was live." And, you know,
Yes,
that's all right. And then they can hear me play this. Right? Yeah.
I forgot.
You think I remember all this music?
Yes, I forgot.
I know. Certain
Why?
parts, yeah, yeah.
That's my next question. This song you have to play every day because it's training. If I miss some days,
Yeah.
I forgot some notes. And if I forgot some notes, it's
It's not good. It's not good. Yes. No, it's hard. It's not easy.
Yes, I wait you in Italy so we can play together. It will be my best dream to play with you.
Oh.
Because Jordan Rudess is playing for me. I forgot all notes.
Right. Well, me too. So that's
We
okay.
invite you to the next prog night. Daniele, tell something to Jordan about our prog night.
Yes, we are planning the many show around Italy. It's called Prog Night.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yes, and we would like to invite many bands, of course.
Yeah.
that they can join us. And we would like to play around all Italy. And the main theme is the prog night, the progressive rock, the progressive metal. And we try.
We did one night, and COVID arrives.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's like me. I played one show with Deep
I
Purple,
don't wanna
and the next day the world closed down.
Yes.
Yeah,
But you remember when we meet in Rome last year? It was in February after Dream Theater show. 15 days and all is closed. All is closed. I was.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It was
That's
really
crazy.
hard.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember the last days of my European tour, the last tour we were on. I started to hear about this pandemic, and so I was going in on my walks because I'm always walking around. I would go into the stores and the pharmacies, right?
Yeah.
And I was asking, "Do you have any masks?" So I thought I better buy some masks. And every pharmacy I walked into, they said, no, the Asian people just came in and bought them all. Every country, the last 4 or 5 countries, when we started to hear about it, I would go in and try to buy a mask. And every one of them, whatever Asians were in the country, they would buy all the masks. Because I guess they were also hearing that there was big problems back home.
Yeah.
And they were all buying the masks to take back there. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Last show was in London.
Right. And then I came home, and then I had one show with Deep Purple on March 13th.
Yeah.
And then after that, I managed to get home. Everything was cool. But as soon as I got home, everything shut down. That was the end. And then basically haven't really traveled since then. It's crazy. And then you guys know I while I was home with this heavy energy, everybody was so upset. I was going in the studio and playing like the piano stuff, and I made this new album that I just put out, a chapter in time, like a musical diary. It's very peaceful, very calm, but that was kind of where my it was partly where my head was at, to just produce that kind of sound.
My God.
Danny,
As I said, always the most important thing that we are all okay, we stay all fine. And this is for me the best, the more important thing now.
Right.
Really. Luke, do you want to say something?
ascolta, Daniele mi sta chiedendo Alessandro della nostra community
Sì.
se gli puoi mandare il link che è arrivato a casa, se vorrebbe fare delle domande o comunque parlare con Jordan. Io ti ho mandato la sua mail in WhatsApp a te, se riesci a fare qualcosa sarebbe una cosa bella anche per Alessandro. Se riesci
Ok,
a
Alessandro, gli posso condividere l'evento?
il link per collegarsi all'evento, sì.
Ok,
Ti
glielo
ho
mando.
mandato la sua mail, se mi fai questo piccolo favore, perché è arrivato adesso a casa.
Si vuole connettere all'evento nostro? Si vuole connettere all'evento?
Sì,
Ok.
dalla tua pagina, ti ho mandato la sua mail a te in WhatsApp, grazie.
Fate una domanda a Jordan nel frattempo che io metto.
But Jordan, you was scheduled for more shows with Deep Purple or only for one?
No, I was scheduled for one show. That's
For
all
one
it was.
show.
Yes, it was
For
fine.
one show,
We did the
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
It worked
great.
out. There was like 40,000 people there. I played Smoke on the Water. My Deep Purple fantasy came true, and then I went home.
Yeah, great.
It was fun. It was really fun. And you know what was really crazy? I don't know if you guys know this, but I did the whole show pretty much exclusively with my iPad. The iPad was making all the heavy organ sounds. It's a
My
new-
iPad is here.
it's a new piece of software made by IK Multimedia, and it's called the BX3. It's very powerful, virtual organ software, and it sounded amazing. And the guys in Deep Purple, they loved the sound, but they had no idea where it was coming from. But they didn't care as long as it sounded cool and right. It had to sound right. So I worked with my tech, Keith Wexler.
Yeah.
And even beforehand, before I went down to Mexico, I worked with Eric Norlander, who is was the product manager. And he came to my house, and we prepared all the sounds and made it, so it was really rocking.
Great.
Yeah, it's really cool. Matter of
Incredible.
speaking of organ sounds, wait till you guys hear the amazing sounding organ tone that I got in the new Dream Theater album. I'm really
Wow.
excited about it. And I think it's partly because, well, Jimmy T, of course, mic'd up. Well, we got a real Leslie cabinet, one of the old fashioned Leslies, but also the way that he mic'd it and the kind of preamp that we used. And I used a little bit of the BX3, but I used the X5 Hammond organ a little
Okay.
more. It sounds real. I'm really happy with the tone of it. It sounds really cool. So
Wow.
that's exciting to get out there
We can
as
we
well.
can wait to hear the album, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to wait a little longer.
Jordan, really?
Yeah.
I have my iPad here, so also
Oh yeah. You can run
my iPad.
IK multimedia software, right?
This is my iPad to learn Dream Theater and the Live Extension
Nice.
experiment. So